Hello and welcome back. Today we'll finish up the planer thicknesser. We'll mount the wheels, as you can see they're already on. I'll show you how that's done. And then we'll run through the electronics. There's a thermal relay and a VFD on it now to act as a soft starter. We'll get into that later. Firstly, I'll show you how I did the wheels, then electronics, and then we'll run through the differences between the helical cutter head and the straight cutter knives. We'll take a look at the sound difference and the cut quality, which is the two major ones. Yeah, let's get into it. Alright, let's take a look at the electronics. So I wanted to start off with a really simple setup where I just had the three-phase motor inside and then I had the thermal relay on the side with the emergency stuff. The issue that I ran into was if I wired it up like this, the starting current was way too high for the thermal relay to handle. So I set the thermal relay for the limit of the motor, which is on the plate. On the side of the motor. I set it for that, but then when I would flick it on, it would immediately pop, and that indicated that the starting current was way too high. The thermal relay I thought should be able to handle this. There would be a delay in the thermal relay to allow the engine or the motor to start back up. But I guess the resistance in the system and the weight of the cutter head was too high for the motor to start up properly when it was wired directly. I looked online and it said that I should have a soft starter. Soft starters are really expensive, so I went for a VFD, which is pretty much the same thing, although you have quite a bit more freedom in a VFD. So the VFD spins up the motor slowly instead of applying full current from the start. This allows it to draw much less current, and therefore you don't exceed the limit of the thermal relay. That is pretty much why I have the VFD. The bonus is it's adjustable at speeds, so you can also have higher RPMs if you want, or you can have slower. The only thing you need to be careful of is the limit of the motor, that you can't exceed those rotations that it has as max. This is why I have this set up. I'm not going to use the VFD much except for stopping and starting the machine, but it's basically used as a soft starter. I know that quite a lot of dust will be coming out here, so I'll design a cover to sit on top of this so I don't get too much dust into the VFD. I haven't had time to do that yet, and actually not much dust is thrown this way, most of it is thrown out the other way. But just to make sure, I will have that to take care of it so that it lasts a long time. So yeah, this is basically the setup. It's all running in 3-phase, and yeah, the VFD was necessary for this to start up. Alright, so first here we're just going to do a decibel test, so see how loud machine is going to be. We're around a meter away, a little bit less than a meter. So it's very quiet here. But we'll turn it on and see what we're getting. So we peaked around 91, so this is without cutting anything. This is just the noise from the motor and from the spindle spinning. Alright, let's do the sound test without cutting on the Helical cutterhead. So on the cutting we're getting 94 SMX, so it's quite a bit louder. The dB scale is doubling around every third dB. This amount of sound is doubling around every third dB, so from 91 to 94, it's quite a big jump. So as you can see, the cutting noise is actually the same as the running noise, and I think that is where the actual gains are in the loudness of the Helical cutterhead. It's pretty much the same noise when it cuts as if it's not cutting. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, so here we have the cutting results. In general, it's really quite smooth. When I feel it, I can feel there's a little bit of bumps in the end, so we're having a little bit of snipe. You can also see something's happening here with the black stripe. I don't know exactly what that's from. But yeah, it's very hard to tell, but we have these little ripples. There you can see them a bit. This is normal on straight knife planers. Besides that, I'm quite happy with this, how this turned out. I'll show you a larger piece I did after this to show you the issue I'm having. So on big pieces like this one, I'm getting lots of chip out like this. I don't know if you can tell, you can, I think. It's very severe. Even, yeah, and this is a hard piece of wood to cut, because it has this change of direction in the wood grain here. So there's a knot here, probably on the back side. Now there's no way to combat this, because this wood direction is going up this way and it's going up this way. So if you want to plane this flat, I don't know, you have to stop halfway and flip it or something, because you always want to plane with the wood grain, like stroking a cat. So yeah, this is the issue. So this is the wood that we cut with the Helical cutterhead. As you can see, we don't get those ripples as we did before. Especially around the nut, there's no tear out. You can see this is still super smooth and nice. The whole surface is like it's just been planed paint with a hand planer and sand it with like a Grit 80 or something. It's really quite nice. And it's much better than the tear out on the other one and the ripples. There's no ripples here. You can't feel any ripples. So I think we can pretty much conclude that the Helical cutter head is almost the same loudness, if maybe running is quite similar to running the straight knives, but cutting is a little bit quieter on the Helical cutter head. The cut quality is where you really get the gains. It seems like it's just way better, and I think if you're considering changing and you don't want to spend so much time sanding and finishing your wood, I think helical cutter knives is for sure the way to go. I had a big issue with the straight knives and I don't like setting them up and the hassle about it, so this is the why I switched. I'm very impressed with the cut quality, it's really good. And then I'm super annoyed having to all the time getting my blades resharpened and stuff. I just want to have my planer working. If you ever nick one of them, you can change it, or if you feel like they're getting dull, you can rotate them around. And yeah, I think it saves you a lot of headache. For me, that is worth the effort and the time changing it, and the money also. I don't have much time in my workshop, and I think the time I want here, I want to be pleasant and not spend messing around with the straight knives. I think not a lot of people get really good result with straight knives, and I know you can, but for me it's too finicky. I want it to work. I enjoy the woodworking kind of things. I don't so much enjoy fiddling around with the blades. So yeah, that concludes it for the Helical straight battle. I think it's if you have the money, this is for sure a good upgrade, although they are quite expensive.